In a previous video, I discussed the concept of the unconscious mind. The way we speak, think, act, and feel is unknowingly guided by any number of unconscious contents, which are acquired genetically and through the course of our lives. However, most people are unaware of this sphere of influence over their lives, and believe that their personalities are equivalent to their egos. Most people confuse self-knowledge with knowledge of their conscious ego personalities. Anyone who has any ego consciousness at all takes it for granted that he knows himself. But the ego knows only its own contents, not the unconscious and its contents. Jung, as well as many other prominent psychologists, believe that knowledge of the unconscious can be beneficial for psychological health. This is because many of our neurotic disturbances or bad habits stem unknowingly from the unconscious. Becoming conscious of these psychic factors allows us to correct course, so to speak, and prevent these factors from controlling our lives. But exploring the unconscious also has the benefit of synthesizing new ideas and insights, as the unconscious mind often weaves patterns of experience gathered in waking life, and attempts to find new information in order to help a person to gain new understandings of themselves or their environments. Many amazing discoveries of humankind do not come from conscious planning or reasoning, but from sudden experiences stemming from the unconscious. However, by definition, the unconscious is not immediately accessible. Most psychic contents are tucked away beneath the threshold of consciousness, where they nevertheless influence our behavior and thoughts. For this reason, depth psychologists have devised a number of ways in which the unconscious can be examined and studied. For instance, Jung and Freud often used association tests, such as asking a patient to say the first word that comes to mind when they look at a given word. One psychologist, named Hermann Rorschach, attempted to gain access to the unconscious by having his patients look at ambiguous inkblots to see how the images were interpreted. Other, more modern methods include meditation, as the practice has been claimed to increase self-awareness. In this video, we will discuss 3 methods which I find to be useful for exploring the unconscious. This is not an extensive list, and these methods might not be suitable for everyone, but I have personally found that these methods can help illuminate the unconscious. Unconscious contents naturally come to the light of consciousness in the course of time, and since the structure of consciousness is influenced by the unconscious, careful observation of the patterns of consciousness can help to reveal the structure of the unconscious. If you were to closely analyze your thoughts as they arise spontaneously, as a stream of consciousness, you may be able to note certain patterns or sources of tension, which may reveal the existence of unconscious complexes. The problem is that it is generally difficult to keep track of your thoughts, and we have a tendency to direct our thoughts in a way which may conceal any unconscious influences. Furthermore, once the thoughts fade away, they can't be closely examined. For this reason, I recommend a practice called free writing. This is simply when you write down your thoughts without any attempt to control or direct them. This can be done with a computer and a blank Word document. Automatic writing is similar but distinct, and is a purported supernatural ability, wherein a person believes that they are possessed by an unseen influence which guides their hand. The psychologist Theodore Flournoy believed that what was really happening was that the unconscious mind was taking control of the writing, which made the person feel as if they were possessed. He observed that through this process, people could recover memories that were lost to the conscious mind but still existed unconsciously. To practice free writing, simply take 15 or so minutes to write down anything that comes to mind. Write down any thoughts or images that arise spontaneously, and use this format as a way to give expression to your thoughts without excessively controlling them. This is also an opportunity to express your feelings and opinions, which may be otherwise concealed. Give yourself free rein, and don't worry too much about the content, structure, or the grammar. Assume that the only person who will be reading this is yourself. At first, it may be difficult to do this, and you may encounter resistance, but you can always start by writing down how you are feeling in the present moment, and comparing it to how you felt previously. Unconscious thoughts, memories, and feelings naturally strive for manifestation in consciousness, and by allowing your thoughts to flow and be experienced naturally, you will begin to recognize patterns which you may have never noticed before. Again, don't worry too much about having cohesive thoughts in a structured way, but allow yourself to experience a stream of consciousness. You may find that after some practice, Your thoughts will come out more effortlessly, and what you write will be more reflective of your unconscious mind. After you are done, go back and read what you wrote to examine what kinds of ideas your mind produced. It is also a good idea to look back at this a few weeks later, as you may be surprised by how your mindset can change within a small amount of time. While this method can be useful for gaining some insight into the inner workings of your mind, it does not give us direct access to the unconscious, and we can only ascertain it indirectly. The method favored by many depth psychologists is dream interpretation. When we sleep, our consciousness is given a chance to rest, allowing our unconscious minds to take over. The images experienced in dreams are symbols, which suggests that although they can be difficult to interpret due to their often fantastical nature, they nevertheless present us with insights directly from the unconscious. Symbols are the language of the unconscious, and their meanings are not always clear but must be interpreted further, in contrast to consciousness, which is more logical and literal. Many modern dream theorists believe that dreams are an attempt to simulate certain experiences, to allow the mind to gather information from them, and be better prepared for the future. Jung theorized that dreams can often occur whenever there is an imbalance in our lives, such as depression or anxiety, and the dream attempts to balance the psyche by informing the conscious ego about the source of anxiety, as we are often unaware of what is causing our feelings. This could be something in our past which we experienced but can no longer recall, but which nevertheless is causing us to have neurotic feelings. The collective unconscious can also be experienced in dreams, as we may encounter our archetypally inherited nature in symbolic dream images. One thing that is important to note is that the people we confront in our dreams are often parts of our personality that have split off in opposition to our conscious egos. This is especially true if we encounter our anima or animus in a dream, which is usually represented by a member of the opposite sex who may appear to have an almost divine aura surrounding them. You may also encounter ideas which you may find distasteful, but it is important to note these, since this is likely where a conflict between the ego and the unconscious has occurred. Dreams often express ideas which were at one time conscious and part of the personality, but which have been pushed back for one reason or another. In this way, exploring the unconscious can allow you to rediscover yourself, and to remember facts about yourself which you may have forgotten. Dreams also provide new information, which can help contribute to growth, and help you develop a new outlook on life. However, interpreting the meaning of dreams is not easy, as what we experience in a dream can be so bizarre that it is difficult to believe that they can be meaningful. But we should expect dreams to have some kind of a meaning, as the brain expends a lot of energy producing dream images. We will discuss how to interpret dreams in a later video, but for now, I recommend watching Jared Chan's video about Jungian dream interpretation. To start, try keeping a dream journal in which you write down any and all dreams you experience. Dreams are notoriously difficult to recall, so try writing them down as soon as you wake up, and write whatever details you can remember. I find that after doing this for a while, dreams become easier to remember, and I can recall them more easily. Note any recurring themes or images, as these are likely important, and try to read through your journal every once in a while to see what kinds of symbols your mind has been producing. People who can experience lucid dreams, as Jung himself frequently did, can have a chance to confront their unconscious directly, with their full conscious attention. The last method for exploring the unconscious, which we will discuss, is the most controversial, and is one that I can't necessarily recommend, but it does seem to be the most effective tool for this purpose. This is the use of psychedelic substances. The word psychedelic itself means soul manifesting, and it refers to the fact that these drugs can give one direct access to their unconscious mind through hallucinations. We can think of the mind as a maze, wherein contents are always attempting to come towards consciousness. Psychedelics can act like shortcuts in the maze, enabling ideas to flow rapidly into consciousness. Contents of the unconscious will become readily accessible to consciousness, as psychedelics induce a state known as ego death, which pushes consciousness aside. These drugs increase the vividness of your mental imagery, and these imaginations can reveal the structure of the unconscious. As unconscious contents come forth, you may notice that they present you with brand new insights about yourself and about the way you perceive the world. Shamanistic societies have been using mind-altering substances for thousands of years, and utilize them in order to help resolve spiritual problems. And there is a lot of evidence that psychedelics can be used as a treatment for mental health disorders. Since all of this occurs while you are still alert, it is easier to note the unconscious and remember it as well. However, this method is not necessarily advised, as many of these drugs are illegal, and so despite being potentially beneficial, you can get in serious trouble for possessing them. Furthermore, these drugs are very powerful, and if you are not properly prepared, they can lead to psychotic episodes, and so pose a very real risk to your mental health. If you choose this route, it is advised that you do so in a safe setting, and take all of the precautions needed to avoid any danger. We have a tendency to place consciousness in the center of our lives, but we should not neglect the unconscious, since it is so much vaster than consciousness. In upcoming videos, we will discuss how you can integrate the unconscious, as there are both good and bad ways to integrating the unconscious aspects of yourself. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. The next two videos will be titled Catabasis, The Descent into the Underworld, and Integrating the Unconscious, so look forward to those. You can click on the badge at the top right of the screen to check out some of my previous videos which relate to this topic. Again, thanks for watching and have a great day.